Welcome to Modern Pipeliner Podcast, Energy Industry Interviews, Season 1. Interviews of key players in the energy industry. All right, Episode 4, Modern Pipeliner. Our guest today is Shaun Johnson. He is a good buddy of mine from back in the day, and I wanted to get his take on the offshore industry. Since we're focused on energy industry interviews, I thought he would be a great person to talk about that market and then give us a little info about what he's doing today. So with that being said, welcome, Shaun.
Oh, thanks, Tim, for having me. Appreciate it,
sir.
man. Good to see you and touch back up again.
I know it's been some years, but good people don't change, right?
That's right. Those years that we were talking a lot, it was some good years back at SAM.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were always some of the leadership in our group there, huh?
Oh, wonderful leadership.
So, with all this being said, what is your story, your resume, and how did you get to here?
Yeah, so after wonderful years of Sam Houston, finding your way in life was pretty rough. So I was staying with Clay Rochelle, another fraternity brother of ours, and it was a few of us, and just looking for jobs, man. And there was nothing, nothing available, and that was 11.
Okay, it was a little bit after me then.
Yeah, I was after you, and Clay got us a place down in Houston. Oh, way out of everybody's price league. Granted, he was making 400,000 a year, but I was trying to figure out a way to make 400,000 a year like he did, and called me one day and said, "Hey, get out of bed. We're going to a military career fair." I said, "Clay, I'm not in military." He said, "I don't care. You're my brother today, and let's go." I was like, "All right, let me roll out of bed, So go to a, where was it at? I think it was at Reliance Center or something like that, and we ended up going. It was all oil field career fair, and I talked to a lady, won't ever forget her name. She was at FMC, didn't even know what FMC was or didn't know much about oil, but I knew you could make a lot of money. So I approached her. I said, "I'm looking for a job." She said, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Oh, I just graduated with a Bachelor of Science, Industrial Engineering, and I don't know what I want to do in life." So she said, "Well, call me Wednesday. I have a job for you." So I called her Wednesday, and she said, asked me a few interview questions. She said, "All right, well, come in. I want you to come in and look at the shop. I got a manager lined up for you, and I want you to meet him. And if everything works out, then most likely you'll get the job." And this was at the time when oil was doing really well, and they were just hiring on the spot. So I walked in and met the manager, John. Great guy. Still, he doesn't work there anymore, but he was there for 15 years when I started. And so I walked into what we called the SCM lab, which is for deep water subsea control modules. It's the brain of the whole field, basically, and it controls each trees and monitors each tree's hydraulic pressure, bore pressure, all that. And it's, when you first see it, it's really overwhelming. And I was like, there's no way they're going to trust me with this $2 million piece of equipment. I'm pretty sure I'm going to blow this thing up. And yeah, that's where it started. I started building those and refurbing those. They'd bring them back from offshore. We'd break them all the way down. I mean, there's hundreds of wires everywhere, and it's basically a deep water computer. It takes like 4,000 to 5,000 psi of external pressure in it. So you have to, everything's precision. And if you make one little mistake, it costs millions of dollars for transportation, the equipment itself, the man hours. So that's where I really started working on and honing in on precision at that point. So
yeah, for sure. Once you get offshore, you got to have your doubled up equipment, or
yeah,
or else one tool goes down and You're standing
Yeah,
there.
no,
And,
there's no mistakes. If you if there are mistakes, they won't be letting you back on the rig quite a bit.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we did a few offshore projects for integrity maintenance type work, but
Hmm.
that was about the gist of what what I've done, maybe working on some platforms and stuff like that.
Mm.
My first job after college was working on those platforms while they're dry docked. And so before they
Mm.
went offshore, like the
Yeah,
Chevron's Blind Faith.
blind
Uh,
faith. I've been
yeah,
there.
yeah. So I
That's a
did
big
that.
rig too.
It's massive,
Yeah.
and so that was my first job. Was carrying buckets of bolts and flanges up those stairs to get to the stairs of the deck.
Yeah,
And so yeah, my legs were like tree trunks.
for sure.
But I think I'll still come back to Huntsville at that time, come hang out with you guys.
Oh, Jesus.
But
That's
but
much
but
needed
yeah,
working out there.
yeah, come back and have a pockets full of money and to our little college town. I was a popular guy.
Yeah, millionaire in Huntsville.
but but yeah, no, that's a great story. And then but today, you kind of building up to this, but you kind of left last year and you had something else that you're building on the side and
Yeah,
branched
so
out.
I did the Gulf of Mexico, working there for 5 years. I became a basically a subsea lead. So we did the drilling, the completion, and then even the interventions. And then my main rig was BP Thunder Horse. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure a lot of people heard of that one. So
Yeah.
we had this specific equipment. It was a mini BOP. It was like a small workover, and I was the lead for that for a little bit, and ran that thing up and down and yo-yoed the hell out of that thing for a few years until finally said, I'm ready to see the rest of the world,
Yeah.
and make some more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And be on a regular rotation, because when you work international, it's 30 days on, 30 days off, much more consistency. But so yeah, after 5 years, went into Africa, 5 years, 2 years as a lead again, and then I went over to the management side, and I became basically a operations manager for. I was in Angola, so ended
Yeah.
off there, and that was a good little project. Actually,
How was that?
it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
That was The people over there are just amazing. The food is something you'll have to get used to, but God, man, they eat fish like you wouldn't believe. But
Yeah.
other than that, man, it was awesome. It's beautiful weather year round. It's different working with a lot of British people and learning the native language. That was very, very difficult,
Yeah.
because for so many people that they have that aren't from, let's say, Angola or whatever country, you have to have so many expats. So for one expat, they need two natives. So that's what was difficult, was, trusting these people for one. Like, hey, did you tighten this bolt to this certain spec? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you go back and no, they didn't. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to tell you it's in, it needs to be in Newton meters, or, I should have told you that instead of foot pounds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you have to go behind people twice as much you do in the Gulf of Mexico. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's good, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I'd worked on those platforms, and it was international. We had people from South America and stuff in there, and contractors working on packages and welding and X-ray and all this other stuff going on. At the same time, I'm hydro testing pipe and drying it all out. But I became El Diccionario out there. because
Yeah.
if somebody needed to know turning on the pumpa or whatever, whatever it became,
Yeah, yeah.
they needed some help and some foreman help. so
Right, right.
so I was new, but you got to learn fast in this industry.
You do. You do. But yeah, so I did that. I really enjoyed that. And then that happened. COVID happened, and they shut the whole country down. And when I mean shut it down, it's not like here where, hey, can you please stay inside? It's no, you're going to stay inside, and there's no flights. We had to wait a little bit, which was pretty scary on how we were going to get out, but BP came through and they managed to get us out safely. So
Good.
told my wife, I've had enough. But in the meantime, I was already had another business going, and because when I get home for 30 days, I need to do something. I'm not the one that just sits on the couch all day after.
Sure.
After 2 days getting my rest and getting acclimated, I'm up and going again. So yeah, I had this other company going, and it was going really well. We had it was more of a commercial maintenance company, and so we would go through. Property managers would call us and say, "Hey, we need some pools remodeled, or we need a dog park installed, or something like that." So we would help them out and do the construction work for that, and that was a really, really successful company. Um, lots of hard work,
Yeah,
lots of hard work.
for sure.
But that's when I learned about entrepreneurship, being my own boss, and how much more opportunity you have
Yeah.
as your own boss
Yeah.
rather than working for somebody. So
Yeah. Picking and choosing your deals, and sometimes the best ones that you take are the ones that you don't take.
Yeah. Couldn't have been better said. Yes. Yeah, not all jobs are good jobs, or the
Yeah.
ones you want to take. And money's not, it's
It's not
not.
what you think it was.
No, no, especially when you're tearing out walls, and what's behind that wall, or what's up under that concrete, that's going to cost you more money rather than the whole job's worth. So
Refining your T's and C's, and getting your agreements
yeah.
qualified.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we learned about contracts really quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Really, really quick.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Insurance.
Yeah. Don't get minimum insurance,
No.
Always get exceeding insurance.
Get a little extra. So let's go into when you first started, in energy. What's something that was more challenging than you had expected?
At first, it was learning schematics was the biggest difficult and pain for me. After that, just learning people and how to deal with people.
Yeah.
Because in corporations, that's what will get you, further in your career advancements than knowing how to do your job. Is just, how do you deal with people? Do people really want to work with you? Well, if they do, you'll most likely advance a lot quicker. If you don't, well, most likely they'll find a way out for you. That's what I've seen a lot, especially offshore. That's the first thing that they do on rigs, is how easily do you get along with the driller, the foremans out there. Are you a pain in the ass? If you are, well, most likely we won't see you in a few days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you hone that down and learn how to talk to people, learn how to get people to work for you and with you, then sky's the limit for you after that. And that's what it taught me how to do, is how to get people to work. What do they work for?
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and I kind of hit on that with all my guys is, just when you get out there, you know, you gotta pretend like you've been there before. You gotta
Yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta already, you gotta learn fast on your toes and mind your P's and Q's and you know, don't just go out there trying to make a friend real quick,
yeah.
fucking put your hands on it,
That's right.
and
Yeah,
and take work away from your supervision.
yeah. Ask them. The biggest thing for me when I was a supervisor is if you didn't know, just ask.
Yeah.
Because it's it's too dangerous out there to
Yeah,
go and do something when you have no idea what you're even touching, looking at, and you can really hurt a lot of people really quick by
for sure.
not knowing what you're doing. So
For sure.
I never really yelled at anybody out there because I was treated that way. Those I caught the end of those days,
Yeah.
yelling and cussing and F
Yeah.
you and you're a piece of shit. And
Oh shit.
so I never did that to any of my people, and I think they really respected me for that. At least I hope they did. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
I
never got in
don't
too many arguments out there.
I don't know that I got in too many arguments either. It's just trying to respect everybody that you're working with. But
Yeah,
but you get some knuckleheads for sure.
absolutely.
What is a good life lessons that you learned from the industry?
I think the one I just touched on
Okay.
is how do you work with people,
Yeah.
because it's a life lesson. It's not just you go to work and you're dealing with people. It's the people around you all the time, and it's your family as well. And
Yeah.
are you a pain in the ass to your family? Well, most likely they don't want to talk to you either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, how do you talk to people, and how do people, how do you come off to other people as well? And um,
Sure.
yeah, that's the biggest thing I've learned.
Sure. What coworkers were the greatest contributors to your character?
Man, I had a lot of mentors, thank God, good and bad. I'd have to say the first few were bad. That was the ones that were yelling at me, and I
Yeah.
promised myself I was like, I'm not gonna, ever be like that or treat anybody like that, because nobody likes it. It
Yeah.
doesn't get anywhere with anybody. I still talk to one of the guys today. Actually, he's a loan officer for a mortgage company, but yeah, we still keep in touch, but it's distance. But had some guys in Africa. They really took me under their wing, especially learning the drilling portion of things, because it's a little bit different over there, dealing with the depths and everything. All the metrics rather than the American version of everything. But
Sure.
all in all, it's been quite a few people
Good.
that's helped me along the way.
And what was your worst and best project?
Oh my God, all of them. You know, I noticed that I got stuck in a lot of the projects that nobody wanted to do. And I set myself up like that because I was the one that learned things that nobody else wanted to learn. So I was more like a specialist. And a lot of people didn't see that. They see it as work and they don't want to do it. I see it as opportunity.
Right.
And I know something that you don't know. And
Yeah.
that took me a long ways, especially in
Sure.
the computer side of things and the programming side of things. It really helped me. And in the downturn, that's what
Yeah.
helped me. I never stopped working. I got
Yeah.
even more busy in the downturn because when FMC was laying off all these people, they were laying off a lot of the computer tech savvy people, and I just so happened to stay because I knew the technical side and the mechanical side.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the electrical side and the mechanical side. So that really, really helped me keep a job and work even more. Yeah.
That's very good points here. I think you got some good helpful tips in here for someone.
The worst project, absolute worst, is BP Thunder Horse. They
Okay.
say it's cursed, and I
Yeah.
absolutely believe it. They say
Yeah.
it used to be called BP something else, and then they had the Indians sued them, and they cursed them, and they changed it to Thunder Horse.
Whoa.
And ever since then, man, they have problems after problems, and yeah, it's crazy.
Was it the Crazy Horse?
Crazy Horse, that's
Yeah.
what it was. Yep.
Yeah.
And then they had to change it to Thunder Horse.
Yeah.
So we went out there one time after a year and a half of this work over mini BOP that was in the shop, and they said it was pristine. There was nothing wrong with it. They tested it for a year. And so I get it, and I received it, and we're doing deck testing. And then the valves start leaking. And then the accumulators, we had 21 accumulators leak out of like 40.
Whoa.
And then we had to do all of this changing offshore during Christmas
Yeah.
and during New Year's while everybody was inside eating
Yeah.
Christmas dinner and we were the FMC was the only one outside. So that one sucked. That one really that one really was not fun.
The realities of our work that,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
stories that nobody hears, right?
Yeah. When the driller goes inside and eats and doesn't come back out, that's not good.
What's something about your industry that has surprised you in recent years?
What's really surprised me is how lean that they're finally getting on personnel being offshore and the cost cutting that they're doing. A lot of it's the technology that we have now. Believe it or not, the robots are replacing us. Take, for instance, tripping pipe offshore. There's no roughnecks. Roughnecks do not touch the pipe anymore. It's all automated. So, that's two or three, actually, that's four people that they don't need anymore.
Right.
The subsea ROVs now, they can stay supposedly underwater for 180 days now. They don't have to bring them back up, so that takes care of four more people from running the winches all the time that they can send to the beach. So I'm really surprised how they're they're cost cutting around personnel, and the technology's so much more efficient now that it's taken away from jobs, but it's actually helping the energy companies, BP and Shell and all them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I'm surprised. Also, money is most of the time over safety.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of times to where they just don't. I mean, you'll bring something up, and sometimes you'll get run off the rig.
Yeah.
It's safety concerning, and that's the first thing they say when you get on the rig is if you see something not safe, please speak up. So a lot of times it's like really contradicting on what they say out there, because when you stop people from working, the rig shuts down, which stops money, and they don't like that. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta walk a fine line with that as well.
For sure. For sure. I don't know if you're still tracking it, but do you know of any big projects on the horizon, or do you have any big projects you'd like to talk about?
Yeah. So when I was out in Angola, they shut that project down. It was BP. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it was new. It was new oil that they found, and that was also one of the deepest wells that we've ever drilled. Um, I think it was scratching right at 10,000 feet water depth, and I think it was like 30 something, 35,000 feet total, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
But that's supposed to be one of the biggest projects going on right now. They're finding oil left and right. Obviously,
Wow.
Mozambique, they're blowing and going over there, just finding oil just everywhere over there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
those two projects would be some of the biggest projects in the world right now. Lots of eyes are on those
Awesome.
projects.
Awesome. Now, what's your vision for energy in the next 5, 10, 50 years?
You know, unfortunately, this electric car push, I think it's going to be something along the lines of the horse and carriage to the modern engine now. I think eventually we'll start moving over to electric, but I just don't know how in the world they're gonna make these big rigs, efficient as diesel and go as far as diesel and last as long as diesel trucks. So I do see the most of the population of the the smaller vehicles moving to electric or some kind of hybrid, but I don't know about fully converting everything.
Yeah.
I know that solar is really starting to come into play now with these houses, but that technology, it's still not there yet to really make it worth it. So I think, eventually, it's going to happen, but not right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what is something positive about you outside of work that most familiar with you at work would not know?
Oh man. That's a tough one.
Get you to talk about yourself a little bit.
I guess. Well, I got, these two little kids of mine.
Okay.
That's my biggest thing, helping my little boy become a man.
Yeah.
This little girl of mine, that's something new I've never dealt with in life.
Yeah. Change your life
Learning.
there, little girl.
That will change a life. It's very difficult, very, very difficult, but I would have never thought I would have been the biggest cheer dad.
Yeah.
Out there yelling louder than any of the coaches.
That's funny.
But I absolutely love it. And
That's great.
want my son to become, a little man, and I got him motorcycles, four-wheelers like I had growing up, and yeah, he wrecks all the time and I love it.
That's funny. Yeah, we hadn't got our kids any motor stuff yet, but I'm sure it's coming soon.
Yeah, bump that insurance up when you do.
My wife's family is all professional motocross riders. Like
What?
two of her brothers are riding professionally for Honduras right now. So, but yeah, so it's in the blood.
That's awesome.
It's in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we hadn't wanted to go that route yet.
Yeah. You'll have to pull out a HELOC on your house for to support it because it's so expensive.
Yes. You have, now for what you're doing now, do you have any upcoming networking events, books, product, services that we can help you to promote to the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, like we mentioned previously, I had a commercial maintenance company, and we shifted over from commercial maintenance to specific restoration and roofing now. So we were getting a lot more calls on these condos that we were really working for, saying, hey, our washer overflowed and it flooded 3 or 4 floors, can you help us out? Absolutely. And during the freeze is when we really picked up our restoration side of the business and really decided to make the change after that. So yeah, we're just a full service reconstruction and restoration company now, and right now I don't have any upcoming networking events. We just do a lot of the Chamber of Commerce, go there and just show my face and stay in their face. We have a lot of Facebook stuff you can see and on our Facebook page that will let you keep track of all the projects that we've been doing, and And yeah.
Yes, sir. And then what is the best way for the audience to, let's say, support you, your company, and get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can contact me at 832-400-6887. That's my direct line. I answer 24/7. We can send guys whenever you need, 24/7. We operate 24/7. So don't ever hesitate to call. Facebook, Turnkey Restoration 24/7. You can contact us there, inquire about any kind of problems that you have, or you got any mold, or you're skeptical of in your house, condo, you live. It doesn't matter. Just give us a call. We can make it out there. Usually we have a response time of about 4 hours is when we're gonna actually show up. So most of the time it's an hour. So that 4 hours would be the latest. 1 hour would be about the average time we usually get there. Yeah, don't ever hesitate to call us. We're there to help you guys out. Work the insurance company directly. If you give us consent, it's a lot easier for you. Not dealing with the headache of adjusters all the time, trying to just wiggle their way out of not paying or paying a lot less on your claim. Yeah.
Very helpful, Shaun. Very helpful company. And then you guys are based in North Houston, right?
Yeah, we're based in North Houston. We can make it just about anywhere. Do work in Louisiana as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we're there whenever you need us. We're out of Montgomery right now, trying to set up another office in South Houston just to make it a little bit quicker response time, but just haven't really found the spot yet. It's been a little busy, but we'll get there.
Good. Well, Shaun, it's been a pleasure catching up with you again, and we're going to conclude this episode, and I'll be glad to help you promote and get you some good content going out there. And if there's anything we can help with in the future, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciated it, and good catching up with you, bud.
Thanks, Shaun. Talk to you soon, okay?
All right.
All right, bud.